Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV, and on to the next question, which is by Alan. So Alan, what's your question tonight, mate?
I'm going to have a bit of fun with everybody because every football fan, for every team you support, always has this scenario, okay? I want everyone to name me the current City player that you don't rate or don't fancy, and the reasons why, and then we're going to discuss each and every one of them. And we know, see, I know Andy's laughing. I know. I'm going to go first. I
know Andy's answer.
I think everyone knows it. I'm going to go first to me, okay? And I'm going to go Otamendi. Everyone at the sports club here knows what my feelings are with Otamendi. The reasons why is every time we play against a team that have got quick forwards, he has an absolute nightmare. He spends more time on his backside than he does stood up. When he was centre half, he needs to stay on his feet. And
he's not going to breathe, though.
It costs us so many goals. Examples this year: you've got Liverpool, nightmare. Wolves, an absolute shocker away from home. Spurs, pace again, shocker. Norwich away, oh my God, it was an absolute disaster. The guy is just not good enough to play in that shirt. And when people say he's good against Burnley, where the ball gets bumped in the air and he can head it, right? He's good at that because he's physical, and I get that. When he plays against Burnley, the Sheffield Uniteds, them sort of teams, he's okay because he hasn't got quick forwards. But as soon as they play against someone who's absolutely rapid, no, forget it. He's just not good enough. So I'm going to go Otamendi. I like people to discuss that with me, please. And I'm going to go Andy first because I know he likes him.
What, Otamendi, or do you want my player?
Otamendi.
No, Otamendi. Yeah, I think it's harsh. I think he's a solid player. Is he our best centre-back? No. I think he's had far more better games, good games, than he's had bad games. Yeah. I think we could pick holes in every single player. We could pick holes in David Silva. Yep. We could pick holes in Sergio Aguero. We could pick holes in Aymeric Laporte in certain games and go wasn't brilliant. Yeah. So I think if you pick out certain players, I don't know. I think he gets a rough ride, and I know he has made some howlers. But then name me a defender who hasn't made howlers. Yes, is he good against pace? No, because he's not very quick. That's his problem. That's the one thing that he's lacking massively is pace. So I'm trying to be objective about it, but I think he gets a rough ride, and I think overall is a 6.5, 7 out of 10 most games, sometimes an 8, and I've given man of the match on occasions as well. I think it's one of those that's going to split everybody. Some people like him, some people don't. It's one of those. But for me, I think he's a solid pro. He's got loads of experience, and that's something that we haven't really got. We've got maybe Walker's got a lot of experience, and but apart from that, now Vinny's gone. We haven't really got. I mean, Aymeric Laporte's not got loads of experience. All right, yeah, he has actually because of Madrid and things like that. But I don't think we've got a lot of experience at the back. So you know my thoughts. I think
that's why I came to you to ask.
Yeah, I think it gets a bit of a rough ride, but each to their own.
Okay. Anyone else got something to say about him quickly?
I follow what Andy said. He's brilliant. Yeah. I think he's a great player.
Okay. Martin, go on.
Do you know where I think Otamendi's got a rough ride? I think it was down to one game. Does anyone remember the City 5 Liverpool 1 game?
Oh, yeah.
For the first 20 minutes, Otamendi looked like Bambi on ice against Salah, if you remember.
And Salah's done that to a lot of defenders.
I agree. Yeah. I am very much. I like Otamendi, but I think the fans have never forgotten that Liverpool game for some reason.
First 20 minutes, nightmare.
Yeah, I think he probably had the worst 20 minutes in the whole of his career. And the trouble is with City fans, I like to think we're mainly intelligent, Barmy, and we seem to have long memories. And we don't see...
Why are you looking at Andy when you said that? Eh?
I'm looking at 5 feet.
I'm not saying anything.
Right, okay. All right, Chris,
No.
a quick one or not?
Well, Otamendi would be mine as well, and I don't like him. He gives me the heebie-jeebies whenever he's on the ball. I don't see the 8 out of 10 performances that other fans do. That's just a personal opinion. He's not bad in the air, but he is the player that I really dislike. Not as a person. I think he's a bloke. He's a really decent bloke, Yeah. But as a player, he just scares me every time he's on the ball. The way he chucks himself in on wingers,
I agree.
He's just he's
round too easy.
Yeah, he is the player that I think isn't good enough at City. Well, there's 2 actually, but he's the one for an experienced player. And if it was a choice between having to lose him or Stones, it would be Otamendi. And a lot of that,
I agree with you.
It depends. It also relies on his age and the fact that he's not homegrown as well. So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
I get the point. Now, back to the original question. Out of the current City players, who don't you rate and fancy? I want to go Martin first.
Where do we start with this?
I'm going to watch Andy's face when he says it. I'm watching Andy.
Well, there's John Stones, there's no manager. Right. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't an issue with John Stones or Sane. Sane, my issue is because he wants to leave and I want him to stay. I'm hurt by it, I'm honest. The one player I'm not keen on and I just cannot like at all is Zinchenko. And it's not because he surrounds himself with all these models either. I have never seen a more inept performance than Zinchenko at the Swamp. I have never seen a more inept left-back performance in my life. I have got a knackered spine. And I'll tell you what, I'd have gone on at left-back and played better than Zinchenko that day. I'm sorry, Bambi on ice, he looked like he fell through the ice and was drowning. I don't know what he was doing that day. And then it was, he's not a left back, he's a midfielder. He played midfield kind of at the new White Hart Lane and got absolutely bullied and thought he was playing NFL in the middle of midfield by rugby tackling someone to get sent off like a total killer. I'm sorry. Wolverhampton Wanderers offered us £15 million.
Wow.
Snap the bloody hand off. Thanks very much. Get you out the door. I'll drive you down to the down to the Black Forest or wherever Wolves is. I'd tell you, I'd drive him down there. Sorry.
The Black Forest.
He's angry.
The Black Forest. I'm going to drive you down to the ghetto. I'm going to drive you down to the ghetto.
Elvis did a song like that.
Does anyone want to say anything about
Zinchenko? Don't let the door at your ass on the way out, sunshine. You go and have your models, but go and have them at a different club.
Anyone got
Very
comments
strong
on that?
statement.
Has anyone got comments on that?
Very harsh. Slightly over the top.
Name me a more inept left-back performance than that at Old Trafford.
Well, I tell you what. All right, I know what you're saying, but it's like Sergio Aguero in the QPR game did absolutely jack shit. Yeah, he did. Except for that goal. But it created it. If he didn't score that goal that day, City fans would be looking at him going, "Where was Sergio Aguero? What did he do that day? What was going on?" But he didn't. He took that one opportunity, and the forwards get that opportunity. So I know. I've said it many a times. He can't defend. He always gets caught out behind the back of him as a left back, and he isn't naturally a left back. But I think Martin was a bit harsh in my opinion. But
a bit.
I don't know. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
Sorry to let you know, Martin, but sorry to upset you, but I think he's staying and he's being put back into midfield according to some things I've seen.
For who? Name me for who?
No. You have to look at Zinchenko. Yeah, he was brought in as a centre attacking midfielder and was put in left back because we had nobody else other than Fabian Delph when Mendy was injured. Yeah. And I think I've seen him play for Ukraine in his actual position, and he looks really good.
Yeah, but I've seen him play in that position for City, and he can't pass 5 yards.
Yeah, but you're asking him to play. You're asking him to play a White Hart Lane in a position that he hadn't played for City before. You have to give him a few games to bloody get into it.
I know, but you don't rugby tackle someone in the middle of the park.
Yeah, but he had no other option though.
Of course you did. You let the man go. It's called using your noggin.
Stevie Bergwijn, was clean through.
But you can turn around and say Sergio Aguero got sent off for his tackles on David Luiz. You got Fernandinho got sent off for reacting again. People make mistakes.
No, I appreciate that. But like Tom said about in midfield, well, you've got De Bruyne, you've got Fernandinho, you've got Gundogan, you've got Foden, you've got Bernardo Silva. Where on earth is Zinchenko going?
Is a utility player.
Yeah, Fernandinho's got to stay in defence. Fernandinho's staying in defence.
Well, name who Zinchenko's going to replace.
Yeah, but he's not going to be a starter.
No, he won't.
Gundogan's not a starter, but Gundogan's ahead of him.
Well, come on.
Yeah, but not a left back.
No, Tom didn't mention left back.
He'll play instead of Sane when Sane buggers off.
I know, but the fact is a utility player that is happy to be on the bench, and you need players like that like Gundogan, who is quite happy to rotate and be on the bench and come in. As long
as he's sixth choice, because if he wants to play midfield, he'll be about sixth choice.
The reason Zinchenko didn't leave to go to Wolves is because he wanted to stay. That's the only reason he didn't go to Wolves. It's because he thought,
to play for City, give me a 5-year deal.
But Zinchenko has done us a massive favour over the past 2 years. You have to remember that. If it wasn't for him, there's some games that we would have lost. Because if you look at it, Zinchenko's he's given some sort of strength to that back line. Because if you didn't have him in some games...
Pardon? Strength?
Fine then.
Strength? Yeah, he can't defend for Toffee.
Okay, then. So you tell me how, if he can't defend for Toffee, tell me how we've won 2 Premier League titles in the past 2 seasons. He's played left back more than Mendy, Angelino, and Delph combined. You tell me that.
He had 3 quality defenders next
to
him.
Good point, Tom.
We've won quadruple. We've been formidables. We've been formidables.
Yeah.
We've won the Carabao Cup twice.
Tell him, Tom.
Yeah. All right, Tom, I've got a question back for you. Every time an opposition comes to the Etihad or we go anywhere else, which side did they go down?
The left side.
Why?
The left side.
Because we're weak there.
Thank you very much. Case
okay
closed.
then. Right. Okay then. No. Right. No. Because I haven't finished yet. How many wins did we get against the top 6 last year? We only lost 1 against Liverpool away, and Zinchenko wasn't playing. Mendy played.
So you think Zinchenko's better than Mendy?
I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying that.
I think play Cancelo there.
I think Benjamin Mendy's brilliant, and I think he'll stay there. But what I'm saying is Zinchenko has done a job for the past 2 years, because look at it, we've had nobody else to put there, and he's had more starts than any of the other 3 left backs combined.
I'm not denying that. He's done a very good job. Thank you very much. Doesn't mean you keep him for 5 years. Fabian Delph did a great job. We still sold him to Everton.
Yeah, because his contract ran out. His contract was going to run out. We were trying to get some profit off him.
Right,
you've just said Zinchenko, we should keep him because he's done a good job for 2 years. Delph did a great job. Got us the 100 points.
Right. We're going to move this on.
Alan. Andy, please.
Sorry, what was
your question? I'm going to get some shit in the comments tonight.
Everyone has a player they don't fancy within their team.
Yeah, well, you know mine.
The reason why.
I mean, there's many.
I've said there's only
Gundogan,
one player.
Mahrez, Cancelo.
No, Gundogan. I'm quite happy with Gundogan. Good utility international player. Quite happy with Gundogan. No, I said right from word go, Cancelo was a very, very poor signing. So I'm sticking with it. like I said, did the video, the analysis on him before he came, and all three Italian analysis said he cannot defend. He's good in an attacking team, and we're talking about Serie A. We're not talking about Premier League. He's good going forward. He's attacking. He cannot defend. He gets caught out far too many times. And if that's what he did in Serie A, Jesus Christ, what would happen in the Premier League? Well, he came, and we've seen it. He's not been.
Yeah.
Wow. That is breaking news going across the bottom of the screen at the minute.
I just think it's a bad. I just think it was a bad signing. And it wasn't just about Cancelo. And it's ironic that Martin will say, "Oh, the rumours and things like that." But I mean, that is not happy and he wants to go back. And maybe that is game time. Maybe it is game time. Maybe he's not settled into the UK. I don't know. There might be a plethora of reasons why. Yeah. But I can count one game where he played okay. He did all right in that game. Other than that, not impressed whatsoever. Not, he might have 12 games and think, oh, well, he's had 3 really good games. Yeah. No.
If you could only see our WhatsApp messages, me and Kiam have gone on during games defending Cancelo for 25 minutes, and Andy's not had it. Not one of it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, can anyone? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it is confirmation bias by me. If you can tell me a game that you go, oh man, he was brilliant in this game, and fine. Tell me. I haven't seen one. I've seen one where it's been all right. He's done okay. But I haven't seen one where I've gone, oh my God, Jesus, Cancelo was brilliant today.
I've got to say, Andy's hit the nail on the head. You just listened to what Gary Neville said about him at the start of the season when we signed him, and he went, great going forward, but he ain't going to do jack for you going at the back. He will do, and he's managed him. I know Gary Neville's not the benchmark of managers, but he's managed him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we play 3-5-2 or something, maybe he would be better in that position. I don't know. I just think it was a crap signing. I think getting rid of such a versatile player in Danilo, for him in particular, I just think it was a bad buy. I think it was a really bad buy. Yeah. So, for me, if I had to pick one, it would be Cancelo. I hope he stays. I hope he becomes absolutely best right back in the world, or attacking, whatever. But I just can't see it.
As I did with Zinchenko, become the best left back in the world. I hope he does.
Don't he want him to leave, and then he's turned around and said, "I want to leave." And then they said at the last minute, saying, "No, I don't." To blind somebody up.
Is that why Semedo and that other deal's not happening?
Yeah, they were getting the thing done, and then he's turned around and said, "Oh, now I want to stay," but they actually wanted to leave because they've lined another fullback up, and they're a bit pissed off about that.
Oh, you would. Well, I mean, does that not say everything to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How much does he really want to be here? I mean, I hope he stays and proves me wrong, and I hope he does fantastically well. But I just can't see it. If he's had 4 years in Italy where they're just going, he can't defend. He just cannot defend. Pep's not one to make you a brilliant defender.
No,
if Simeone was here, you might look at it and go, Simeone would make him a really solid right back, and in a system that is very defensive minded, and he'd be covered. But in the style that Pep plays, it leaves your fullbacks open to exposure. It really does, and you've got to be seriously good. And I'm not saying Walker. I think Walker's been great this season, but he can be exposed as well. Mendy, we know, can get seriously exposed, but I think that depends on what your centre-backs are like as well. And if we've not got 2 top-class centre-backs, it's a problem.
A massive problem. Chris?
Well, my 2 were Otamendi and Zinchenko, and the biggest surprise out of Martin's rant was really that he had a spine. But I can't believe you got a spine, mate. But anyway, but they're the 2 players.
To the doctors.
They're the 2 players that I don't really rate. On the Cancelo thing, I think he's in the position where he hasn't had enough game time to prove anything.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
And I agree with Andy that it was the wrong buy. We needed a centre back, not a right back. But the Danilo wanted to leave because he wasn't getting the minutes he wanted. And I really liked Danilo. I thought he was a really good player.
Scored goals as well.
Yeah, but he was very much a utility player, and whenever he came in, he did a good job. I'm not saying he was a man of the match performances, but he was a real steady Eddie. So they're my two. I don't dislike Zinchenko either. I don't dislike Otamendi as people. But like Martin said, if Zinchenko's going into midfield, then who's he competing against? Because he's nowhere near in the same class as everyone else we got, which includes people like Gundogan, who are quite happy to sit on the bench. There's no one else really. There's two players that concern me a little bit, and that's Rodri and Mahrez, because I think they slow the game down. But I don't dislike them as players. But I don't dislike either of us players. I think Mahrez had a decent season really. But as in terms of how Pep plays his football and City play football, I think the pair of them slow us down of what we saw when it was Sterling and Sane.
I agree with you about Rodri about slowing it down. I think this next season is big time important to him because I think he needs to speed up and play the game at the Premier League pace. And I don't think I think it shocked him, to be honest with you, how quick the Premier League is.
Yeah, but you're just saying that, Martin. And everyone's tonight when I was talking about Otamendi and talking about other players go, but remember their first season and blah 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 blah. Yeah, remember Fernandinho's first season.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It wasn't brilliant. And and at the time we spent quite a bit of money on him. And it was like, and look at him now, probably one of our most consistent players over the last 5-6 years.
And I've got to be honest, centre back has helped Rodri. I think the plan, I've always said it, I think the plan was Fernandinho to carry on at CDM and Rodri to learn, come in and out.
I agree.
The plan was Rodri straight in the traps.
But I mean, that's not Rodri's fault, and it's probably not Pep's fault with Laporte being injured, is it?
Don't get me wrong. I think Rodri looks an amazing player, but is he in the right team? That's the only thing. He looks a really good player.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good point.
The thing is,
I'm hoping in 12 months we're saying what a player. I just hope we are.
Yeah. Well, we need decent centre halves to sort that problem out, because at the moment that is the area that we're really, really struggling in my opinion.
And that's sometimes why he potentially gets exposed as a central defensive midfielder at the moment, is because he's not getting that cover from the centre backs, and he's probably concerned about who's behind him and worried about them. Where if you imagine if he had Vinny and Laporte behind him, he'd be having don't worry, if they get past me, they'll deal with it. And it gives them a freer role, and that's what Fernandinho was like, where he could just go and watch the game and dominate the midfield and go, I'll try and cut this out. If they get past me, I've got Vinny and Laporte behind me, they'll sort it out. Mm-hmm. Where if you've got mix and match behind you, it's like, shit, I need to cover these, and suddenly your game is a fraction of a second off. Well, and suddenly it's gone.
Spot on about having the exposure. So has Edison been exposed a bit with not having a decent defence in front of him?
Yeah, I think he has. Yeah.
He's had a poor season.
Because Edison's up with the same guy, hasn't he?
I said to you, Andy, I said to you after the Brighton game that when Laporte went down, when you interviewed me, I said to you that if Fernandinho did a decent job in that game, but he could do a job there. But when he came to players against the big teams with pace and the top of the table teams like United, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, etc., can he handle it? And the answer to that question is no, he can't. Because he's not centre half. And it's an absolute must why we need to sign 2 centre halves this year, and there can be no excuses for missing out again on centre halves. I don't know. I've looked at. I like that dunk from Brighton. I think he's an enforcer and a leader, and I think absolutely he would be ideal. I don't know particularly what he's like with his passing game, and that's what Pep likes.
He's all right.
But as a defender and a leader, he's like a young Vinny.
I said 6 months ago.
And I said the same. I really do like him because he doesn't take any crap, and he gets it done. But we'll just have to wait and see what Pep does.
He hasn't got a fancy name though, has he? He's not called Louis Dunkinho or anything like that.
I know. Well, let's move on. Tom's turn. Who don't you like? I think I know the answer to this one, but why and give the reasons properly.
Well, Gundogan is one of them that I'd put up there, but he's not the main one. So I'm going to go for my good friend John Stones. Based on the fact he's had 5 years and he's done absolutely nothing but cost us goals, and because of John Stones and the price tag we paid for him, I think the club have been naive into thinking that he's going to cover and solve all our problems, and he hasn't at all. So we've been talking about several years now saying, we need another centre-back and we need another centre-back in. I think we need another centre-back in as well as the one that we needed, because John has just not performed to the standard we wanted him to be at. We talk about...
I don't know about you, but John Stones frustrates the hell out of me because he's got so much ability. And to me, he doesn't concentrate. As ability-wise, he could be a world beater. We saw that in the World Cup. He was awesome, right? But he loses concentration. That is his biggest problem.
It's all right because he had a decent season, 17-18 season, but that was because the team was playing so well. You see the players. You see many of the players now, especially this season. Edison's got a few problems. John's had it for a few years. I'm not saying Edison's anywhere near as bad as John, but Edison's had his problems this year. But yeah, for John, like I said, I think like Chris said about Zinchenko and Otamendi, he's a great guy, but he's probably a nice guy and nothing wrong with him in the person, but his performances just aren't hitting the place we want it to be at, and he's had 4 or 5 seasons to do so. So yeah, that's John. That's John for me.
Yeah. Okay. Who's left?
It's Ryan here.
Ryan.
Yeah. Hi.
Right. You
here?
Turn, mate.
Yeah.
You're not on screen for me.
Yeah, I've turned off my camera. It's just not working. It was just showing a black screen while you were gone.
Okay, go on, mate.
Yeah, for me it was between 2. Kyle Walker, mainly because of what's happened post-lockdown.
Well, that's his playing ability, has it?
Well, no, but I think that was... I said it once that happened, I was happy to let him go. Because it's the same reason I wouldn't want a player like Grealish. I don't want to deal with that.
Let Phil Foden go. He was on Formby Beach playing football.
Foden was in my mind for one of these answers, but as I said, I would have let him go out on loan. I think a lot of with Foden is also that I'm not from Manchester, and so I don't have the same connection to him that way. But
who don't you rate?
Foden is a bit.
Who don't you rate? Who don't you rate in the team? I'm talking about football here. Who don't you rate?
I mean, probably one that I rate least. I mean, I don't rate Zinchenko as a player, but I mean, I like him to stay. I think he loves the club so much, and so I mean, he's a utility player. He can do anything. I think Foden's probably most overrated, but I'd still say Stones and pretty much just echo everything Tom said, really.
Yeah, okay.
Just not really good enough to play for City.
Okay, that's it.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, that's another very brilliant question. One that's always going to be, people are going to debate it. Don't forget, give us your comments below Alan's question. was about who was at the moment your least favourite current City player. So give us your comments below. What we're going to do is going to come back and we're going to ask. Next up is going to be Ryan. So don't forget, we'll see you soon.